In this part of the Beadle activity, we're going to visit the island of Santorini. This is one of many Mediterranean islands located off the southeast coast of Greece, and it has an unusual shape because it was created by a large volcano. About 3,600 years ago, there was a huge eruption and about half the volcano collapsed into the sea. The island we see today is what remains of the volcanic crater, or caldera. Here you can see the steep inner walls of that crater. Santorini is known for its bright white and blue buildings perched on the edges of the crater, as well as for its green, black, and red sand beaches. Here we are on the island of Santorini, and this is the first generation of beetles that we're going to study here. As you can see, they live in a red environment, in a red sandy beach area, and they're organized according to their genotypes. At this point, you should pause the video, go to the data table for Santorini, and record your data for generation 1 by recording the number of each genotype, how many of each allele, and then calculating the frequencies of the red and yellow alleles. On Santorini, like some other places where beetles are found, there is a predator that eats the most visible beetles in their environment. But this island also has something different. There's a human. And this particular human happens to think that the yellow beetles are really pretty. And so what he does is he feeds them and he protects them from predators. Oh, predator can't get any of those beetles. This means that when it's time to put the beetles in the mating bag to create the next generation, these beetles will have survived, but all of these beetles will also have survived because the predator couldn't get to them. And because they're being fed by the human and they have more resources, they might be able to have more babies too. So I'm going to put all of these beetles into the mating bag and we'll see what happens. Here's the second generation of beetles on Santorini. At this point, you should stop the video, get your data table for Santorini, and collect your data for generation 2, including both the number of each genotype and the number of each allele, and then calculate the frequencies of the red and yellow alleles. The human who was around in the previous generation is still here, and still really likes the yellow beetles, and is frankly quite pleased to see that there's more of them. So once again, he protects those yellow beetles, the ones that appear yellow, and gives them extra food so that they have a little bit of a survival advantage. When that predator comes along, it can't find any yellow beetles and they are safe. So I'm going to put all of these surviving beetles in the mating bag and see what we get for generation 3. Here we have the beetles for generation 3 on Santorini. Once again, please pause the video at this point to collect your data for generation 3, including the number of each genotype, the number of each allele, and then calculate the frequencies of the red and yellow alleles. The local human still loves those yellow beetles. So once again, he's going to find the yellow beetles, feed them, and protect them. Predators still can't get to them. So all of these beetles will be able to survive, and the yellow ones would have a particularly easy life given extra resources by the human that's looking after them. So all of these are going to go into the mating bag, and let's see what we get for generation 4. Here are the beetles for generation 4 on Santorini. Once again, please pause the video here and collect your data for generation 4, including each genotype, the number of the red and yellow alleles, and then calculate the frequency of each allele. Once you've finished the data table for generation 4, follow the directions on the Santorini assignment for creating a graph of allele frequencies over time, and then answer the questions to describe what's happening on this island.